with Steve, Cat, Ryan, Amanda, and Eric. In the voice of NEW, Vince Berry. Hitting all the topics like a clothesline flurry. Turn up your speakers and hear them out. You can listen from your car, even on your couch. They too raw, who NXT? Handing out smackdowns, follow on IG. Plus, it's sponsored by TagMeADate. Go to YouTube and sub now for every update. It's all wrestling here. No safe space, now listen in. Time to hear from some of the greats.
All right. Well, we are live with our weekly edition. The voices gave me, I didn't realize the voices were coming in.
Oh, yeah. Woo. Of course. It's Santos Escobar. I figured trying to find ones that we haven't used yet.
Yes.
And they actually have a really good one.
Yeah.
Even though they're really doing LWO stuff now, but which I'm very much for. But welcome everybody to another edition of the War Report. And hey guys, Facebook user, what's up? But yeah, we definitely got a lot to cover this week, don't we? We have a draft. Kat is here. Let's get Kat on the show. What's up, Kat?
Better late than pregnant.
Oh my god. All right.
Especially for some people. All right. Well, so we had a draft. I want to know.
Indeed we did.
I want to know everyone's thoughts on the draft because, you know, we're always suspect when it comes to the draft because, well, you know, they never stick to it kind of thing. And that's to be seen if they're actually going to stick to it. I do want to say this, and I want to see if anyone else felt this way, but for some reason, this draft had a different feel to me in a positive way. It's Tara. Hey, Tara. In a positive way, because last time it was this goofy, almost parody, right? Where they had the fucking Fox robot and they had all that stupid shit and they were in the war room and like it was cheesy and it was stupid. Like this seemed more serious. You had people come back each. So they did 4 a match in a segment, 4 a match in a segment, 4 in a match in a segment kind of thing. And then they did more after, and then they did the follow-up with round 2, and then they did some after that. But I liked the flow of it. I liked how, you know, we got people like JBL and Road Dogg and Shawn Michaels who were funny in their own way. Rob Van Dam, who had the card upside down. Eric Bischoff. Like it, but and Hayes. You know, like so Teddy Long. So we got to see
Molly Holly.
So we got to see some really cool faces. And I like how they did it. You know, they gave you 4, 2 from Raw, 2 from SmackDown. Then you had a segment and or a match or both. And then you had another one. And then they even figured out a way how to kind of break that up a little because Brock does whatever the fuck he wants to do, kind of thing. So I liked all of that. However, one thing I did not, I don't know if it's that I didn't like it or I'm just disappointed by it, but then I'd probably be pissed off if this happened. So I don't really know how to feel about it. But if you notice, every faction, every tag team got drafted together.
Yeah.
Nobody got ripped apart because of the draft. You know, and it's like you knew when Becky Lynch got drafted to Raw that Seth Rollins was going to stay on Raw because they always do try to keep the married couples together, things like that. So what is everyone's take, first of all, on the draft this year as opposed to previous ones? What do you guys think of what I just said? And then I want to go over, I have the complete list of who went to Raw and who went to SmackDown. So Vince, why don't we start with you?
Vince, what are you doing?
I had to adjust the autofocus on my camera.
Oh, okay.
I was too blurry, so I had to like move or wave, and then the autofocus kicks back in.
Gotcha.
I can't be excited about this draft until maybe a month or two from now to see how they stick with it. It's one of those things that if you ask me
But what about the actual draft itself compared to previous years? Did you feel like it was taken more seriously?
Well, yeah, absolutely, because like you said, Cletus, the Fox Sports robot, was not CGI'd into the Fox War Room. They got rid of the idea that the executives were there or whatever. Like, at least it was, every pick was presented by a WWE Hall of Famer, legend, employee, superstar, something, which is fine. I think the actual format of it during the shows was great. And then they go, oh, we're going to have some other supplemental stuff on these fucking shows nobody watches. So that does nothing for me.
That bothers me too.
The two, yeah, because then you're announcing like the last draft pick was like Indus Sher, which is like the last 3 Indian guys under contract in NXT, got moved to like SmackDown or something. Oh, congratulations! What are you going to do there? Sit in catering? Like, I just don't. The supplemental stuff does nothing for me. It's just a way for them to push around the guys in the background and kind of make the draft look bigger than it is.
Well, then like one thing for me too, like, so obviously Roman was going to be the first overall draft pick, and he should be, right? But so they drafted Roman, Heyman, and Solo together. No sign of the Usos, although all the other factions and groups all went together.
Right, yeah.
So that kind of teased the idea that, okay, maybe they're going to ultimately kick them out of the bloodline, or say you have to represent the bloodline on Raw. And then obviously that didn't happen because towards the end, SmackDown picked up the Usos. So it was kind of a tease that kind of got shit on. Yes. But there's also quite a bit there that we got to talk about too. But I do want to stick to the draft for now. But remind me, I have some takes I want to talk about with the bloodline. But yeah. But I think overall this was a much better presented draft, and like you, it's to remain to be seen, but I really have confidence this time. I do, that they're going to stick to it. Even last year I said it's going to suck and they're never going to stick to it. This year I'm taking a different take because I gotta feel that Triple H has enough influence where it's going to make the difference. So I'm going to be optimistic on this one.
My level of disappointment was that there was no surprises behind it. Everything was extremely predictable.
Well, let me say this to that, because I feel like any couples, obviously that was a given. Some of the NXT call-ups did surprise me.
The NXT I'll give, but I think, and I'm sure this is on your list of biggest pet peeves in regards to it, I'm very pissed that Bray and Alexa were not on it at all.
I'm not pissed.
Okay.
I thought about that. And listen, when
it
comes to Bray and Bliss, right? And I'm the biggest cheerleader.
Side note, watch that. That's my jam I told you about on Jimmy Fallon. It was fucking hilarious.
I saw it. I found it on TikTok. It was fantastic.
Wasn't it great?
Yeah, it was awesome.
No pun intended.
Oh, well played. For me, I feel like it was a good move because they've both been out of relevance for so long now that, you want to almost leave that mystique open to, are they ever actually going to come back? We all know they're going to come back. And everything I'm hearing is they are going to come back together.
Right.
Which is good.
And I think that's a way to make it a surprise of which brand they show up on.
I was just kind of hoping, I guess, for that surprise factor of them doing something last night. Maybe that was just me.
But I think this works out better because when they did the draft picks, it's not like they came out with the shirts like they used to. Maybe a segment or two after commercial, they would do an interview backstage with them or something, but they never actually came out. They didn't really do anything with it, other than play the music and show their face on the Tron. So I feel like that would take away from the big return of Bray and Alexa. I feel like if that's done on a Raw, SmackDown, or pay-per-view, it's going to have more behind it. And for those reasons, that's where I feel like I'm good that they weren't even in the topic, because out of sight, out of mind, they're not even mentioning them, either of them.
Right.
And they haven't for some time. And that's well played, I think, because it'll give more to the big return. I just hope this time they fucking do something with Bray.
Yes.
I did hear that they have hired a writer solely to write for Bray Wyatt. So I think that's kind of cool if it's true, because there'll be a lot of one-on-one with Bray and this writer, and I think together they're going to come up with some great shit. So
now that's definitely a Triple H move, because we all know Vince McMahon wouldn't do that.
No, of course not.
He didn't want to pay tag teams.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So I'll give, if that's true, I'll definitely give Paul his kudos on that one.
Are we at all disappointed that no teams or factions split with this draft? I just feel like that would have added more shock value to it.
I'm just glad it wasn't the Street Profits. I did not want them. I did not want those rumors.
I am very happy.
Yeah, they were the only ones that.
But like, you could have done it with like Gable and Otis.
Or that surprised me.
I mean, not that I don't love them together,
right? But
you could have done like. I am with you. The Profits, I'm very happy. I just hope this is not leading to a heel turn and split, which is now the biggest rumor floating around because they didn't do it. But
so I don't like that.
No, I mean, I've said it before. I think a few weeks ago, the ideal situation for me is similar to the New Day. Have them split amicably, get back together periodically, whatever, but have your single runs and be there for each other.
Right.
I love them together. You know, I'm not looking to have this whole Marty Jannetty Michaels conversation again, because I don't think it exists with those two, but
not at all.
You know, I think it would work. I just don't want to see it.
I definitely don't need to see the barbershop.
Yeah. I wouldn't have minded like Damage Control splitting.
Yeah, I would have been okay with that.
That would have been the one. That might have been the one good actual split they should have done.
That might already be happening, kind of like with that Io Sky Bianca Belair segment backstage. Anyway,
it's in the works.
I think Io turns face and leaves the group. I think Bailey and Dakota are going to still be together, but I think Io's the one that's going to get the rocket ship up her ass now, and I think they're going to push her hard,
as they should.
Yes, I agree. I mean, I definitely don't think she's winning the title. Although, well, we also have to figure out how they're going to handle this title situation.
That's my biggest thing of all of this is that the women's, like, are they going to do a swap? They're going to have to, like they did with Charlotte and Becky.
But I'm okay with that. Who gives a shit?
I feel like it's
a title's a title. You're still the champion.
I don't know. It cheapens the title.
I don't think it cheapens.
I heard a suggestion. Let me float this by you: that they should rename the women's titles rather than the Raw and SmackDown's women's titles as the World and Undisputed women's titles, and then when they switch brands, they just change the color of the belt.
That could be cool.
That's not bad.
I'm not against that.
Like, then you wouldn't have to have this awkward,
like kind of like the TNT titles and the TBS, like, you know, how they do in AEW. Yeah.
What was that James Bond movie where they had him and the Asian guy and they did the prisoner swap and they both walked along this long bridge?
Oh man,
you know what I mean? It was with Pierce Brosnan. I think it was Die Another Day. It might have been his last movie, but it just reminds me of them doing like two countries doing a hostage negotiation, and they're like, "All right, you both walk across this bridge, and then you're in the other country."
I want to discuss the title.
Hold on, Eric. Hold on before you get into that.
Our big Expos
David Rosca has returned from YouTube with another Trish Stratus versus Bianca Belair for the Royal Women's Champion. How about that?
I think this
guy's got a major hard on for Trish Stratus, which I'm okay
and we do
with.
Too, buddy. Listen,
yes, that's not a knock. But I think that match would be fantastic.
I'm all for it.
Absolutely,
all for it.
All right, Eric, go ahead.
I think it's going to happen too.
Okay, so the titles in general, I want to talk about. Like, okay, the tag titles. All right. Now, are they going to split the belts and have Sammy and Kevin like be forced to drop one set? Or because otherwise
we don't really know.
Right. But otherwise, if it's not a hard split, then if they're going to be on both but I guess they're not on both shows because they got drafted together. Where did they get drafted to? SmackDown?
Who?
Yeah.
Sammy and Kevin.
No, I think they're on Raw.
Yeah, okay. Sammy and Kevin are on Raw.
Yeah, they're on Raw.
Okay. The other thing is, and I'm not complaining about the particular draftees in this thing, but the NXT, the women's champion and the women's tag team champions were drafted. All right. Now, okay, I think that where did the who are the women's tag team champions in on the main roster?
Liv Morgan and
Liv
Raquel.
And where did they end up?
SmackDown.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so I think the women's tag champions from NXT have been drafted to the other show. So at this point, I feel like they're going to have Raw women's tag team champions and SmackDown women's tag team champions, and not.
They're probably splitting all the belts,
and not having it on NXT anymore, which I don't really think is a big
no,
deal.
that I don't see. I think they're going to wind up having a last ditch match, and they're going to drop the belts because you got to have tag titles on NXT.
Yeah. And then Indy Hartwell, the NXT Women's Champion, who recently won it, but I hear she's injured and she's going to end up giving it up or whatever.
Or they're just saying she's injured, so she has to give up the title.
But if that was the case, I would have rather had Roxanne keep it or have somebody else take it if Indy was going to end up being drafted, unless they didn't know that they were going to draft her.
But we're going to get Indy and Dexter Loomis back together, so that's going to be fucking epic.
Look, on NXT, back in NXT, there was a point where Johnny Gargano, when they did the whole way thing, right? He christened her Indie Wrestling. And then there was this whole thing, I support indie wrestling. And I thought it was fantastic. A great pun. So I feel like they're either going to have her drop it to somebody or take it from her.
Yeah, they might be able to.
I'm sorry.
All right, no, this guy, I love this guy. He's my David, your comment of the day so far. Terry, you got to step it up.
Nadia Comaneci. That is.
Remember, he talked about Nadia Comaneci last week. Yeah. This guy loves the Olympics and women's wrestling. This is
and things that are perfect 10s.
Hey, listen, first Olympic female gymnast to score a perfect 10.
Yeah.
All right, so listen, I want to go over this real quick.
Is Bela Caroli training Trish too? Okay, sorry.
On Raw. Officially now, we have Cody Rhodes, Becky Lynch moves to Raw, Gunther, all of Imperium, Matt Riddle, Drew McIntyre, Miz, and Shinsuke are all staying on Raw. Indy Hartwell is going to Raw. Eric and
Shinsuke has never been on Raw. This is his first time on Raw.
Is he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well,
I'm sorry. Shinsuke on Miz TV was fucking amazing last night.
Eric and Ivar, Valhalla, Dexter Loomis, Candice LeRae, Mace Mansoor, Maxine Dupree, Katalia, Apollo Crews, Sonya Deville, Chelsea Green, Zoe Stark, JD McDonough, Rhea Ripley, Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, Damian Priest, Dominic Mysterio, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston, Trish Stratus, Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, Ricochet, Braun Strowman, Bronson Reed, Chad Gable, Otis, Katana Chance, and Kaden Carter.
Wow.
So that is all now officially Raw. On SmackDown, you got Roman.
Wait a minute. So wait, I apologize. Did you say Liv and Raquel are on Raw also?
Liv and Raquel are on Raw.
So the women, the WWE Tag Team Champions and the NXT Women Tag Team Champions are both on Raw?
Actually, no. I think the NXT Champions are on SmackDown.
But either way, I think they're going to drop the NXT titles anyway.
I agree, but I was going to say that would be pretty interesting. Okay.
So for SmackDown, you got Roman, Heyman, and Solo, Bianca Belair, Montez Ford, Angela Dawkins, Edge, Bobby Lashley, AJ Styles, Michin, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, Bayley, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, Alba Fire, Isla Dawn, Top Dollar, Shanta the Adonis, B-Fab, Lacey Evans, Austin Theory, Charlotte Flair, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, Rey, Mysterio, Zelina Vega, Santos Escobar, all of them. Asuka, Sheamus, Ridge Holland, Butch and Karrion Kross, Scarlett, LA Knight, Shotzi. I don't even know why she's still around. Elton Prince, Kit Wilson, Rick Boogs, and Cameron Grimes. I'm happy that he got called up.
Yeah.
But those are your rosters right now.
You forgot Harry Truman, Doris Day, Red China, Johnny Ray, South Pacific, Walter Whitlow, Joe DiMaggio. Did we miss anybody? Oh.
I like that the mid-card champion switched. You know, like Theory goes to SmackDown. Gunther goes to Raw. I like it.
Gunther is going to be so much better on Raw. I mean, SmackDown is I know the A show right now, but I think a lot of the changes they're making are trying to make.
This is a good thing for Theory as well.
It's a good, yeah. Oh, I think so. I think a change of scenery for a lot of these guys.
Yeah, new opponents. Yeah,
Gunther's beat the shit out of everybody on SmackDown. He's got to move.
I'm kind of surprised by the whole. I'm not that I didn't love the whole OC thing, but I'm surprised AJ Styles and then the whole OC thing with Mia Yim and everything again, because that was kind of weird. They hadn't been together forever, and then it was all just brought together like as this big kick-ass faction again.
Well, they were only not together because AJ was out hurt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. It was an injury. Never mind. Then
this was a big this was a big injury return. Does
I take
anyone hear
that back.
that clicking?
Yeah. See, I should listen to Alex more often. He's the one that told me about the injury. See, never mind.
There you go. Anyone hear that clicking?
I did.
I heard it.
It's driving me nuts. I don't know what it is. Okay, anyway. So yeah.
It's not me. I just tried to mute myself and it was still going.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. I think it's going away anyway. Oh, it's back.
It will be nice to see some new faces on the brands.
Yes, definitely.
So, we'll see how it goes. I mean, they have some really good opportunities now.
So, did Braun Breaker get called up?
No.
See, okay, so there were a couple. I definitely want to talk.
He's being punished. Guaranteed, he's being punished. That's
why do you
guess.
think he's being punished? Because of Rick Steiner?
Stupid,
yeah, for the stupid fucking tweet.
It's not just a tweet, dude. Rick Steiner verbally assaulted Giselle Shaw at WrestleCon.
But it has nothing to do with Braun, though. I don't understand.
No, but I mean, this is the wrestling business.
That's
brother.
how it goes. You get
heat
punished.
by association has always been the way.
Sins of the father. That's the way it always goes down.
Yeah, still
Especially in wrestling, they'll look for any reason to fucking bury somebody. So, but I think there were a couple. I don't want to say surprises, but yeah, it seemed like there were. I could have stood for a few more NXT call-ups, but I guess the ones that we got weren't bad.
I think that had Carmelo not won the NXT title, he would have been called up.
Right. Yeah, I think you're
Well,
right.
usually in NXT, you win the title. The next step is you get moved up. And,
right. Yeah, you're fast tracked.
You know, except for somebody like Braun Breaker. Because,
yeah, but not when you just win the title.
Sometimes.
Yeah, but then I was just going to say Indy Hartwell's the exception to that. Yeah, usually it's like a big thing where like they get called up and then like you have your last title defense against like your big rival and you put them over and then you like shake hands and whatever and everybody in the Performance Center cries and then you go up to your main roster debut, but apparently not.
I think they did. Didn't they do it with Keith Lee where not long after winning the NXT title, he got called up?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. They've definitely tried to call up some people who were kind of recent champions, and then like they'd always have a way to do it. They do a multi-person match, or like what's his name, Cross would come out and choke somebody out in 2 seconds, and then you could be like, oh well, no knock on that guy. He got surprised by Karrion Kross and choked out. Of course he lost. I want
to tack on to Tara's comment just a minute or two ago. She says she likes that Caden and Katana are on whichever show, which is great. I still call Katana is fucking Casey Catanzaro. I'm not calling her Katana Chance. That's a fucking stupid ass name.
It seems so like I don't know. That's like her name is. I don't know if there's any
they
real.
Don't even really use her American Ninja Warrior shit anymore.
Well, no. So what they did was because she was on American. This is the way NXT names go. She was on American Ninja Warrior. Therefore, ninjas. What do ninjas have? Katanas. So her name is now Katana. And Chance is like because she was on a game show, so she had a chance to win it or something. You know what I mean? Like they just that's as little as they thought about it.
But they are a good tag team now, so I'll give them that. I like what this guy's saying.
All right,
Solo
Matt,
and Norman, that's intriguing.
Can you guys hear me?
Now we can. At one point, you looked like you were deep in meditation.
My screen is on my end. It's just spinning.
Okay, you look
Matt,
fine right now.
Matt, welcome to the show. I don't think they're setting up for Solo Roman yet. I think they're setting up Solo to turn on the Usos. That's what it looks like to me. In fact, when the Usos had their tag match and Heyman was on the phone and said it's time, and Solo came out before
I
Matt
thought
Riddle,
that was it.
I thought he was
thought
taking
that
out
was
the
it.
Usos. Yeah, for sure.
I think everybody thought that was it.
There's also, it would be okay if the Usos were gone from it because there's a billion Anoa'i family members.
They could call up
got
literally
spared.
any of them for a little
They got
while.
spared.
Yeah.
It's like I'm hearing Umaga's son, or Jacob Fatu is a possible. I don't know what his status with MLW is right now.
That kid just got started.
Okay.
But like Jacob and Lance are two guys that have been.
And Lance has been
for
around
years.
a long time.
Lance has been around forever. I don't even know. I remember he was doing something called like Black Pearl. He was like wearing like Pirates of the Caribbean shirts and shit. Like he's been trying everything, man. I don't know why. I always liked his look and shit, so I don't know. I always thought that he was a no-brainer to get called up, especially now that you've got everybody else.
Well, they're not going to call him LA Smooth because they got LA Knight. So
yeah, no, they can't do that anymore.
Do you guys have positivity on them doing something with LA Knight now?
Don't give us hope. Like, that's the one. You can't. Every time we get the littlest glimmer of hope with this fucking guy, he has to go paint himself up and wrestle in a blacklight match.
I'm not thinking it's terrible.
Oh, I think they're gonna give him a push, but I don't know. I mean, is it a
He
is it a push out the window?
Right?
What?
He changed brands, right?
Who?
LA Knight.
Is he on Raw
he
now?
switched
He's
brands.
Raw.
And the fans are so behind him right now. They're going to have to turn him.
So that could be good.
Yeah, don't worry, Vince. It's not going to be a push out a window. This isn't a ladder match on top of Titan Towers where, actual wrestlers are being murdered.
Yeah. He's got so much charisma that he can do either, and he's so over. It doesn't matter whether he's heel or face. But yeah, I could definitely see him turning face, and I'm totally okay with that.
Stupid name just to bring up or whatever, because we're talking about going over. Like Baron Corbin got over really well in Paris over the weekend. I don't know if anybody saw this or not.
Yeah, but the problem is he'll never get that reaction anywhere else.
But he wasn't drafted. But he wasn't in any of the drafts either.
Well, no, now I think they're doing
France.
Yeah. Baron Corbin with little beret. Yeah, they had plans to do NXTs all over the place. One in Mexico, one in Europe, one in Japan, and all.
Canada would have made sense too.
Canada would make a lot of sense, and I thought it made a lot of sense until as soon as they started talking about doing NXT Japan, there was such a negative reaction from actual Japanese wrestling fans, and they're like, "We don't want that shit in our country. Get that shit out of here."
There's no need for it there.
When they did NXT UK at the time, I thought, wow, maybe they can get someone like Zack Sabre Jr. or Will Ospreay.
Well, they did for
for the Cruiserweight Classic.
The Cruiserweight Classic, yeah. But I don't know about full time. I think especially maybe back then, yes, but now Ospreay would have to be you couldn't stick him in NXT. He'd have to be a main roster guy.
And
even Zack Sabre.
As far as Japan, I think back in that NXT Classic, wasn't Ibushi in that also?
Yes, he was. Famously did not know who Vince McMahon was and gave him a high five. I love that about him.
That's high five. I mean, Vince didn't remember Luke Gallows was still on. He's like,
oh my God, didn't they? Well, didn't they fire him and bring him back?
Yeah, we hired Festus. When did we let Festus back in?
I may be in the minority here, but I kind of liked that Festus gimmick in that he was, and then it
was funny.
It was funny, yeah, and he turned it on, kind of like Waylon Mercy was like, on his way to the ring, and he would be shaking hands with people, and then he'd be a killer when the the bell rang. And so I kind of like that with Festus. And then they did kind of retcon it in a cool way, where when he joined, the Straight Edge Society, and CM Punk said something like, "Oh, he was drugged and blah blah blah," and that's why he was the way he was. So
they tied it all in.
I'm glad that they kind of tied it all in and addressed that.
I'm trying to get over the fact that you mentioned Waylon Mercy, so that might take me.
Lives are gonna be in Waylon
I watched the
Mercy's
match
hands.
with Don Callis as the Jackal against Scott Taylor before he was Scotty Too Hottie from Shotgun Saturday Night the other day.
Oh my God.
Like, holy crap.
Did you see that Duke the Dumpster Drosy one I sent you?
Which one was that?
Duke the Dumpster Drosy just wrestled like a week or so ago.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Jesus.
The dude is in good shape, and he's
no, not even close. Completely bald, and he looked like shit.
That would actually be really funny. Like, could you imagine? Like, they should have had superstars drafted to other TV shows just as a gag.
Someone who looks incredible at this age right now is the Warlord.
Yeah, he still looks good.
This dude looks like he can still,
So we need to talk about the upcoming pay-per-view, and we have to talk about Raw. Well, I guess there wasn't really much to cover on Raw, right?
So over in this thing, my God.
Well, of course he is, but he. I'll tell you what, the way he was swinging that kendo stick.
Yeah.
I like the fact that he's going to face Damian Priest, right?
Yeah, he's facing Damian Priest.
I like that because there's continuity, because they were tag teamed a couple of years ago, right? Against Miz.
Last WrestleMania, yeah. I just like that when Rey Mysterio said that he's not going to get it with the belt at WrestleMania, now you're going to get it with the chancla.
It was about time he was going to say it.
I know how that feels.
There's been enough memes already, so,
It's going to be a good match for sure. And I am excited to see, I think the build-up for Cody Brock was great. And
yes.
I think that's going to be a great match.
Where did they draft Logan Paul again?
I don't think they did.
They didn't do anything with him.
Okay.
Smart move.
No, he's another one that they can just kind of drop in.
I feel like he doesn't need to be a full-time guy.
No.
Well, he's not.
A specialty guy and do maybe,
he does the Big Four.
He's got too many other big projects where he can be full-time.
Yeah, maybe the Big Four and maybe the Saudi Arabia show. Other than that, he doesn't really need to be around that much.
That's true.
And I think they could get more mileage out of him that way too.
Yeah, if he was a weekly character, it would just be he'd be another guy eventually.
Right. And people would get tired of it. Right.
You want to keep him as a special attraction.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, even though it's a shitty one.
Hey, listen, his in-ring work has spoken for himself. Yeah, man, I got to give him credit.
His in-ring work, I'll give him. I just don't want to fucking look at him.
Well, that's the point, though. That's why he's a heel.
You don't want to look at his face.
No, but you love to watch him get hit in the face.
Now, that is true.
So.
Yeah, whereas Baron Corbin, I don't give a shit what happens to him. He's just not interesting.
Yeah, that poor guy, I've never.
You know what sucks, though? He has probably one of the best freaking finishers out there.
Yeah, his signature is great also.
It just sucks that there's just nothing to him.
End of Days and Deep Six are both great moves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then because there was a point where he had a gimmick where he actually had he was like a Harlequin romance biker guy from the cover of a romance novel.
The Lone Wolf. Yeah, that was his best gimmick.
Yeah, and then I guess the other one
called him the last member of the Mayans,
and the fans had this thing where they would time his matches because he was squashing people.
He was best in small doses. And then the other one was it when he was bum ass Corbin or whatever it is. There was one other point where he was kind of over, but it was because
I did enjoy bum ass Corbin.
Character was constantly suffering.
I did enjoy bum ass Corbin.
Yeah, he's fine.
I did.
I mean,
see, Happy Corbin didn't bother me. I thought that was funny. It started sucking when they brought Madcap Moss in.
Oh,
when
did you
first won?
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious.
That guy got his name back, by the way.
He's back to Riddick now.
Yeah. Thank God.
Because that's going to make the
Emma
difference.
a real couple?
They are, yeah, a real life couple.
He's one of the main reasons she got her job back. I think he was politicking for it in the back.
That's great. It's always nice to have somebody who can go to bat for you.
Speaking of couples, you can also say good for Carmella and Corey Graves.
Yeah, congratulations. They finally got pregnant. Good for them. I know she's been through a lot, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Congrats on the sex, guys.
And also good for me, so I don't have to see them on my TV. I'm going to hell for that. I know. Whatever. But I'm Jewish. I don't believe in hell, so whatever.
Oh, there you go. You're fine.
Listen, ectopic pregnancies are no joke, though.
No. I'm glad that she's
good for her.
But again, that's more of like it's a character thing. But them in real life, that's awesome and very happy for them because they did struggle a lot. For
yeah.
To have a miscarriage 1 month and then have an ectopic pregnancy another month and a half later.
That's
horrible.
Yeah, it is. That's rough.
Gonna be one tattooed kid eventually. That's for damn sure.
Carmel's dad used to be a WWE jobber back in the day.
Yeah.
So maybe they can.
You saw that on their YouTube show.
Maybe this kid. No, I knew that before that. But maybe this kid can be a third generation.
It's possible.
Why not?
She's Leah Van Dale. He was what? Dale something? What was he? Something Van Dale? I don't even know.
Yeah, Tommy Van Dale. I don't know. Something like that.
So you guys want to start going over picks for the pay-per-view?
Yeah, so I've got the list of the pay-per-view matches up. We were talking about it, so we'll just get, we were talking about it first. So in a San Juan street fight, Bad Bunny, Damian Priest.
Ooh, that's a toss-up for me, but it's got to be Bad Bunny, right? It's in.
I think Bad Bunny's gonna win. Kevin, what's up, brother?
Bad Bunny,
welcome back, bro. Yeah, I don't see how Bad Bunny loses.
And then somebody actually came in with the answer. Paul Van Dale.
Oh, Paul.
Me and Steve both went for the button at the same time on that one. That's great. We both have too much control over this show. Yeah, Bad Bunny's getting the picks in the comments. I think it's Bad Bunny. It's Sand Bunny. It's gotta be. He smacks him in the face with a chancla and then gives him a Stone Cold Stunner, and it's the end of the match. If that actually happens,
add him to the LWO also.
I think they will come out.
I mean, he's
associated with Red, right? Oh, for sure. Yeah, he's going to have the LWO shirt with the Puerto Rican flag on it, and they're going to sell 60,000 LWO shirts with Puerto Rican flags on them. These LWO shirts have taken off as the #1 seller for 3 weeks in a row on WWE Shop.
Yeah, I got mine. I'll be wearing it Saturday.
What's wild about it is that the original LWO was thought up as a meta commentary on how far down the NWO had fallen and how many factions it had split into, and also a commentary on how badly WCW in real life was treating the Mexican wrestlers. And there was a lot of it was also towards the downfall. It's
not so subtle nuances.
Yeah. Do you remember the time that Eddie accused one of the guys of stealing something, and he had to have all the luchadors unmasked, and every time they pulled the mask off, their backs were to the camera, and he goes, "Oh, he's ugly."
I thought the funniest thing was that Ray, for the longest time, didn't want to be a part of it, and then they ended it, and then he refused to take the shirt off. So when Kevin Nash confronted him, so it's
and now it's back as its own thing, which is interesting.
But the coolest thing about this LWO is not only that, because it's not just Mexican wrestlers, it has Puerto Ricans in it, like Zelina Vega.
Yes, right.
Puerto Rico.
Yeah. It's representing not just one country. It's representing Latinos in general.
Not Latino whatsoever.
Let's see. Does Solo walk out of the? So that's another one that's on the docket here. We've got a multi-man match: Matt Riddle, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn against the Bloodline. The combination of Solo, Sikoa, Jay and Jimmy Uso with Paul Heyman. I think it's going to be a great match, but I mean that Matt brings up an interesting, point here. Especially,
I definitely think that Solo and the Usos are going to lose. So I could see either Solo walking out on them or attacking them after the match for losing.
There's trouble in the island of relevancy right now.
Oh, that's for sure.
That's for damn sure.
Yeah, with the way Paul Heyman's kind of talking to Solo, you know, something is coming eventually. Something's coming.
I
love this guy. I really like David. Never leave.
Biles.
Simone Biles. I want to be a new next row. Okay, there's a lot to unpack here, but I love this person, and I love that you exist and still
awesome.
enjoy the Montreal Expos.
Yeah, you don't see that often.
No, I know. Montreal Expos and women's gymnastics. This is a broad spectrum of things that he enjoys. I probably shouldn't have said spectrum just there, but I guess that applies too.
Well, you didn't put the other word in front of it. So
no, no, I'm good. And somebody in the comments says yes.
There you go. Use eclectic.
He's artistic.
Artistic spectrum.
As opposed to autistic. Oh, yeah.
Oh, see, you said the thing. Oh, you said the word. He said the word, and now it's real. Usos lose in the comments. That might I might have been Tara, just said Facebook user, but I think it has to be that either one of the Usos takes the pinfall, or one of the Usos tries to help Solo and ends up costing Solo the match, and Solo gets pinned, and then he's pissed. But either way, with Paul Heyman saying it's your time or it's time, he's meaning it's Solo's time in the spot. It's Solo's time to be the guy. The guy. Right.
Heyman is just fantastic.
Heyman is doing the work of his career. Amazing. He's doing work that minor actors. It was Tara with that. Thank you. It was absolutely. You know, he's doing.
You know what's amazing is that his work with Brock and now with the Bloodline is like eclipsing his ECW stuff, and he was the fucking owner.
But the ECW stuff, and then it wasn't just there. It was once he came from before that. He was great before that in WCW. He's always
been great.
And then he was great with Brock Lesnar during the SmackDown thing, that early SmackDown era. And oh my!
You know, I wish they would mention the fact that Heyman back in the late '80s managed fucking Uso's dad and Samu and
yes, there's a lot of
the story even more compelling because there's still it's like a full circle kind of thing.
So
you know,
Heyman's known them for a long time.
There are layers like an onion donkey.
Matt says any chance of coming back to turn on Riddle or wait for Night of Champions to challenge Cody for the title. I think either one of those are a possibility too. I mean, I don't know that Orton's even ready yet, to be honest.
Yeah, and I also do want to reiterate that we do not want Cody with this new title.
I mean, we don't, but I think it's inevitable.
Oh, I think Seth wins. I don't think.
I'm totally okay with that.
Are both great additions to that.
Because I don't know. I mean, do they even put Cody in that tournament? Because honestly, once you put Cody in that tournament, he's got to win. Or if he doesn't win, it's like, holy shit.
Or he gets screwed out of it.
Yes,
to then start another feud and take him down a different path.
Yeah, or Brock, does it to him, whatever.
Well, we got to see what happens.
It'll just be so funny if in like 2 years you're watching Dynamite and that song plays, "Wrestling has more than one royal family." And he's like, "I'm back to finish my story, guys."
And are we all also very confused by the way Omos versus Seth kind of just came out of the blue?
Oh, who cares? I just don't understand why you would put. Listen, Omos seems like a nice guy. He seems like, on Twitter, he talks about anime and stuff, and people like him and whatever.
Backstage.
He's fine.
Undertaker's an advocate for him, which is great.
Do you know who else I really think is a nice guy like that? David Otunga. You know who I think is a nice guy like that? Titus O'Neil.
Well,
these are all really nice people.
I think Jennifer Hudson might disagree, though, with David Otunga being a good guy.
But you understand what I'm saying? Like, these are guys that, yes, would I have lunch with Titus O'Neil? Yes. Do I want to see Titus O'Neil wrestle Seth Rollins? No.
No, I want to see Titus O'Neil fall under the ring.
All right, what do we got next?
Oh, man. Oh, we got so such. So we had those two. We've got Bianca Belair versus Io Sky with Damage Control in her corner. Singles match for the Raw Women's Championship.
So who's winning that, Alex? Bianca Belair or Io Sky?
I gotta say Bianca Belair.
I'm with him.
Because the only way that could only defeat Bianca Belair when she gives the Raw Women's Championship to Rhea Ripley, the only way that could only beat her at SmackDown for the SmackDown Women's Championship would be Lita.
Okay.
Well, I'm definitely on board for Bianca. What do you guys got?
Yeah,
I got Bianca.
Yeah, probably.
for sure. Yeah. Austin Theory, Bobby Lashley, Bronson Reed, triple threat for the U.S. Championship.
I'm going Bronson Reed, but I
Same
think they're
here.
going to give it to Lashley. But I'm going for Bronson
I can
Reed.
see it going either.
I'm
of
going
the
to
three,
Bobby.
To be honest.
I think the two big guys are going to completely
This
focus
could-
on each other, and
Yeah,
Austin
probably.
Theory is going to
But
steal
But
it.
I think
That's
putting it on
probably the
Reed could be
answer.
cool.
That's probably the answer. You're right. Austin Theory is
Yeah.
going to steal the victory.
Cancel each other
Bianca,
out.
yeah.
And then that's going to lead to another now singles match between Lashley and Bronson, which I can't wait. That's going to be great.
Seth Rollins versus Omos with MVP in his corner.
I mean, I got to go with Seth Rollins.
I
But then
gotta-
it's
yeah, I
like,
gotta
does
go
Omos lose again?
Does
He
Omos
just lost.
does the Hurt Business help him out? The new and improved Hurt Business, whoever that may be.
I heard that got scrapped though.
That doesn't mean they don't bring it back.
Do you know how many times they've done that with the Hurt Business?
I know.
The Hurt Business is the Family Guy of WWE factions.
That's a real tough one to call, but my gut says it's got to be Rollins.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be Rollins. But again, I have that same feeling you have, Steve. Is like they can't. Sometimes when it looks too obvious, it is too obvious.
Right. The nice thing is it's not so predictable.
Yeah, I mean it's a nice little mix-up, but also but then how does Omos?
But it's also who gives a crap.
Right. How does Seth
mean-
make an Omos match interesting or make people care about it?
I don't even understand why this match is happening. There
Right,
was
there's-
no build. There was
there's-
no story. Nothing. They just said, "All right, Omos, you're going to face Seth Rollins."
Do you have it? The answer is there's a senile old man in Greenwich, Connecticut with a big red
I
phone.
understand if they want to put Omos with a relevant person because Rollins is definitely relevant, but it's not the right time for this to
Maybe
I'll tell you. You know who thinks this match is not a bad thing? Al. I couldn't believe it. He thought it was great. He says, "No."
Listen, I think the
Rollins
average.
Rollins is the best person to put him in the ring with because he'll make him look good even if he's not. Which
He's
I mean, that's not wrong.
Al's not wrong. But
Right. So that's what I'm saying.
how about what if he gains a begrudging respect for Omos and then they're like a faction or a team together?
I think anything Omos does nothing for me.
I'm trying to give you what ifs to how are we going to get you to become an Homo sapien and then an homosexual?
I don't know.
You're not
I mean,
wrong.
listen, I have to say, I think he's gotten better, but that doesn't say much.
Yeah, the comment that you flashed on screen that said Omos is trash.
Yeah.
That's
I
pretty
don't
much the
disagree.
perception.
Omos is trash.
All right, let's move on from Omos. We've already given him too much time.
Yeah,
What's
oh
the-
The
my
only
God.
way Omos is really going to work is if, not AJ Styles, obviously, but putting him as that muscle tag team partner or something. I could see that.
or a
working.
bodyguard.
Yeah,
Right,
bodyguard.
exactly.
Yeah,
Put
great
him, with, put
bodyguard.
him with Theory or something.
Mr. Yeah, if we brought up the
Mr. Hughes
That would
2.0.
work. That would work.
Yeah.
You put him with a guy like Theory.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh,
It's perfect for Theory.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Ooh,
So I'm
yeah.
saying utilize him in
Uh,
some way as he's just the muscle for something, not this
They're
solo.
not smart enough to come up with it.
Apparently not.
No, we'd send you got to capture this clip and send it to him. Next one up is Rhea Ripley against Zelina Vega.
Oh, it's definitely going to be
the
Rhea
SmackDown-
Ripley.
Yeah, but here's the thing. We were talking about these women's titles beforehand. None of this applies until after Backlash. So what if
Correct.
we have a little bit of a switcheroo here and somebody loses a title and then it doesn't there's no need for a switcheroo because
There is no way you can convince me that Zelina is going to win over Rhea Ripley.
you know who you can convince? An arena full of Puerto Rican people.
But I think
That's what
but listen, historically, you lose in your home. Right?
I think Zelina wins the match, but not the title.
Ooh.
A DQ, something.
Okay,
That Zelina gets her home
right.
crowd moment, but not capturing like kind of like the Sami Zayn thing with Roman Reigns. I mean, even though Sami was pinned, but giving something
like Rhea gets
Right.
DQ'd, so
Exactly,
Zelina wins but
right.
doesn't win the title. I mean, I
So
guess
she
I
still
can
has her
get
moment
that's fine.
as long as they don't Luger her.
Right.
I mean, listen, and this is nothing against Zelina. I happen to be a fan of hers, but it's not believable at all. Especially
she needs her
how she's
moment.
looked the last couple weeks.
Mhm.
Like she's gotten her ass whipped, and then at the very last second, she pulls out the roll up or whatever and gets the pin. So I don't know.
Plus, Rhea just won the fucking title.
Well, right.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I don't see Rhea losing the title for sure.
I do
I
like.
I like Kat's idea.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
she wins but doesn't win the title. I agree.
Right. And then the last announced match, I mean, of course, I guess there's still time for them to add something, but the last announced match is, of course, interesting. Somebody in the comments did say it should be Rhea Ripley, but since they're in Puerto Rico, it's going to be Zelina, which is very possible.
Right, just not the title.
So, last one so far for a 7-match card for Backlash 2023 in Puerto Rico. Our main event, maybe. If it's not the Bloodline 6-man tag thing, then this is going to be your main event. Cody Rhodes against Brock Lesnar.
That's still a toss-up to me, honestly.
I like part of me says that Cody's gonna win. The other part of me says Brock can't lose, and then Cody gets over at SummerSlam. But that's if they're continuing Brock Cody, which they could. Like, I don't see this feud ending with one match.
Right.
I could see this match ending Fugazi, like a double disqualification, or like it just gets out of control and they throw the match, or something.
Well, Brock won at WrestleMania, right?
Brock, yeah, he beat Omos.
Brock, that's why I forgot it. So Brock won at WrestleMania. Cody didn't. So yeah, I think this is going to be like another double DQ or something. That this is this is continuing the story, so to speak.
Right. Like I don't see any stories finishing at this pay-per-view.
Not at all.
No.
Maybe the Bad Bunny Damian Priest, that might.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Although, wait a minute. But see, here's the other thing, though. So the draft officially goes into effect after this pay-per-view, right?
Yes.
So this is supposed to start where everybody starts over. Everybody starts fresh. So maybe they're not going to continue stories. I don't know.
Brock's a free agent, but Brock is a free agent. So.
Right.
Yeah, Brock specifically had his contract. Yeah, but here's the thing. So this person, put that up.
I got it.
Yeah.
Yes, they can. They absolutely can. And here's the thing. I can never not put my money on Brock Lesnar. Unless this was a Cody Rhodes has a Colt Magnum 45 match, you know what I mean? Like then maybe. But here's the thing. I think Brock wins and then on Monday someone comes back and talks Cody up, they can win just like they did in well, again, so that's if we're thinking that Brock and Cody is going to SummerSlam, Brock has to win, but kind of has to make it look like Cody almost got him, but then he had to do if he hits him with a tractor truck tire or something, and whatever, Brock Lesnar does something Brock Lesnar and puts him through a table, but it was outside of the ring, so he rolls him into the ring and pins him, and then Cody's like, well, you had to do all XYZ.
Right, because
we're going to make it a last man
not
standing.
Going to be a squash.
Right. It was not going to be a squash, but I think
he may lose, but it won't be a squash.
I don't think anybody ever thought that Cody Brock would be a squash match. I mean, that thought never even crossed my mind. There's no reason Cody.
No, it could be.
They need to show that Cody is the guy, even if he doesn't win. If he gets squashed, then what is Cody?
Right.
You know
he has to look. Right, he has to look credible against Brock in order to change. There has to be enough hope in this match to sell a rematch and then capitalize on that hope. The other thing I kind of wanted to bring up as an aside or an interesting little tidbit is that traditionally, and I know it's not always the case, traditionally, these pay-per-views that take place off the continental US, they usually plan something special for the crowd because they're places that don't traditionally get WWE live. They have to watch it on TV for years. Like the last time they had a pay-per-view in Puerto Rico was New Year's Revolution 2006, right?
Vince, they're gonna get Bad Bunny wrestling and win.
Yeah. No, I know,
There's
but
your
I'm saying,
special. You know what I
but
mean?
they're
We
gonna.
just
I
lost
think,
Eric.
dude. But what I'm saying is the last time they did a pay-per-view there was a Money in the Bank, the first ever Money in the Bank cash in. It was like a big history-making thing. And I'm not saying that they're going to do that again in Puerto Rico, but what I'm saying is I feel like they know that they have a very, very big fan base down there, and they know that it's going to be a hot
Oh, it's
crowd.
huge.
And I feel like I know Bad Bunny's going to really, do it for them, but I think there's going to be something in this match, or something during this pay-per-view that I think is going to be significant. They've got to do something, especially
There's got to be some
as we're
holy
saying,
shit moment during the whole show. Absolutely.
right?
All right.
Whether
Well,
it's,
listen.
whether it's in Brock or Cody, or whether it's in the Bloodline match. I
was going to say, I think if you're looking for something big, then I think we should go back to Matt's comment, and I could see Solo turning on the Usos.
Yeah, and that could be the big
that
moment.
would be groundbreaking for them.
Well, also because Roman Reigns is not scheduled to appear.
What if he showed up?
Right. What if he showed up at the end of the match and all he does is stand up on the stage and give a big thumbs down, and then Solo fucking spikes both the Usos, and that's your big mafia got him hit job moment.
Yeah, that's true. Have you guys and gals talked about Naomi and Impact with Mercedes Moné and Tamina in a green wig there for support? We actually did not cover that because we've been solely focused on the draft and the upcoming pay-per-view, but we do have some time left. That is something we should address. I got to tell you, Naomi did not look impressive at all. I could be rust, but I saw the clip. I wasn't overly impressed. The Impact crowd was kind of meh. I saw Mercedes and Tamina. It shows that Mercedes is back in the States, and there's very strong rumors that she might show up in AEW, so that would be great.
Punk was there too.
Punk was there also. Well, Punk is on the whole tour of trying to make amends. But
the 12-step program.
But yeah, I don't know. What did you guys think? I wasn't overly impressed with Naomi's big debut in Impact.
No.
I mean, she was never Carl Gotch, so, it's about what I expected. But I also think that I went to WrestleMania in Orlando a few years ago. Despite her wrestling prowess or lack thereof or whatever, somewhere in the middle, she was over as hell. She has a good look, the black light thing, the fucking music, the hair,
she's got
the dance.
The charisma.
She's got everything except for, as Bruce Pritchard would say, and then the bell rings.
I think Naomi got much better. I do. I just
she definitely did.
I definitely didn't think she looked great. She definitely had rust. I agree with the Facebook post. I heard an interview where she basically said she doesn't regret leaving the WWE bubble, this and that. And I call bullshit. I think that she regrets it, to be honest. I do. To go from a WWE crowd to an Impact crowd, to me, I just don't see how you don't regret it. David Ross is back.
I think she really thought she was going to New Japan as well. Oh, hey, David.
Well, right. Hey, Dave, I meant to say I want to see Trish Stratus be a next new Raw Women's Champion from Bianca Belair.
He doesn't want to be women's, because he was earlier the way. I guess he was just making a correction that he doesn't want to be Raw Women's Champion, which I'm glad. David, I believe in you, but I don't know if I believe in you that far. So I believe in all of my friends, but I mean that's a bridge too far for us at this point. That would take a whole lot of commitment and probably a couple invasive surgeries. But to see
and Nadia's leotard.
Yeah. Oh man. But if I don't have any particular attachment to Bianca being the world champion anymore because she's so established as the champion. if she loses it, it's not like she's going to become any less over or any less
She
popular.
had a solid run. You can't
Yeah.
at all say anything negative about her
And
run.
if she
It's been
loses to
great.
Trish Stratus, you're like, oh,
Right.
okay, she lost to a Hall of Famer. Fuck it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
And let me tell you something. Now that Trish seems to be back, she was even a part of the draft. I guarantee you a title run is in that contract.
That match is happening. That match
Absolutely.
is happening for sure.
And I'm totally okay with it. Maybe that's the big SummerSlam match.
Maybe
Unless
there's a
they're going to do
shakeup.
Becky, but
Maybe there's a shakeup in Damage Control and Trish gets involved because she's a bad guy now. Maybe she's got to show Bailey what to do. All right. The other somebody mentioned something about a bad pin on Dynamite the other night in the Jade and Taya Valkyrie match.
Taya Valkyrie, yeah.
I didn't see it.
I understood what they were trying to do, but it was not implemented the right way. So they were trying to build heat by saying that Taya couldn't use her finisher, which is exactly Jade's finisher. The Valhalla or whatever it is, Wings of Valhalla is the same as the Jaded. And Mark Sterling, the attorney for Jade, got it legally in the contract for the match that Taya couldn't use her finisher. So Taya, towards the end of the match, looks like she's making her comeback, whatever, looks like she's going to win. She hoists Jade up like she's going to hit her with the Jaded and then hesitates because she knows she's going to get disqualified. And then she drops Jade, and they do the slowest schoolgirl roll-up thing you've ever seen in your life. And the referee counts at what I felt like in the time it took the referee to count to 3, I grew this beard. That's how long the whole thing, you could hear a fucking pin drop. And I understand what they wanted to do. It was just not execute. Like if Taya held her up, she's like, oh shit, I can't do this. And then Jade got a real quick roll up and got her. And then the ref came in and slid in. It was 1, 2, 3, bang, and we're out. Fine. It went too long. Britt Baker saying, same thing. Almost, she doesn't want to be champion in AEW anymore. So Britt Baker, now that she's established herself, she doesn't need that title. She understands that her friends Jamie Hayter and some other people need that title more than she does. Look at her in Pittsburgh. They call it Britsburg. They give out terrible towels, which were associated with a whole NFL franchise that has a 70-year, 80-year, 100-year history. And now when AEW comes in, that's her town, and they use the same terrible towels for Britt. It's really amazing that she's gotten to that point from where she started, because she wasn't very good.
Right. I mean, it's just she doesn't want to deal with the stuff that goes along with being the champion. I can appreciate that. And listen, if she can make the money that she's making and not be champion,
and now, and she opened it up. Haters now. Jamie Hayter is fantastic. She's the absolute 100% right choice to be the women's champion right now. And the fact that you've got other women around like, Toni Storm and Saraya and Ruby Soho and Abaddon, if you go really far, you know what I mean? Like, there are just women on the Chris Statlander coming back. You've got a lot of women on that roster. Sheeta, Emi Sakura, or whatever. There are so many women on that roster that could be credible champions.
Yeah.
Jamie Hayter's doing such a great job that taking over from Toni Storm's run. So, kudos to Britt for not being that kind of person and not being like, I need to be champion all the time. And she understands the value of her as a former champion supporting Jamie as the new champion helps elevate Jamie Hayter. And maybe they're going to have a match at one point and Britt's going to turn on her, of course, as all things in wrestling go. But for now, she's, the idea that she's giving back already, she's not just like trying to maintain her own like main event status. She's like, let somebody else be champion. It's pretty cool for somebody who's like still relatively early in their career and could be very jealous of people or covetous of their position.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But all right, on that note, we are past the top of the hour.
Yes, we are.
Take it home.
A little bonus cantos, extra innings there for you people who don't watch the SAP baseball broadcast. But thank you guys for tuning in for another edition of the War Report, brought to you by TagMeADate. Follow us on social media at TagMeADate. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram and TikTok. We're on YouTube. All of those are under @TagMeADate. That's TagMeADate with no spaces. When you go to YouTube, you type that in the search bar, you hit subscribe, then you hit the bell to get notified when we go live or when we upload a new video. We go live. Ooh, thank you for a good show. Thank you for the comments. We got a lot of people watching, a lot of people in the comments this week. So thank you guys for tuning in. Whatever you're tuning in on, please come back next week, Tuesday, 6 p.m. on Eastern time. We'll be discussing more wrestling things, the fallout from Backlash, and some AEW. The tickets for AEW is all in at Wembley Stadium went on sale today. We can discuss how the ticket sales go next week and all that. And we'll just keep on rolling here every week. Tuesday, 6 p.m. on Eastern time. We're live streaming on Facebook. We're live streaming on LinkedIn. We're live streaming on YouTube, on Twitter, and on Twitch. Twitch.tv/War Report. YouTube is @TagMeADate. And you can look for TagMeADate or the War Report on Facebook. You'll find us there. And for the audio version of the podcast, you can head on over to your favorite podcast app, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts. Look for TagMeADate or the War Report in your search bar. If you search for the War Report, there are, in fact, 2 wrestling podcasts called the War Report, but the icon, the graphic, I should say, and the description of the podcast will tell you it's us. It'll say TagMeADate. It'll say Steve or Vince or Eric or somebody to let you know that it's ours. You can give us a subscribe on there. And then usually within the hour of us going offline, the MP3 version is uploaded to the podcast app, and it'll go right to your mobile device or your tablet, and then you can listen to it and take it with you. If you prefer to take it, to the gym or doing your laundry or whatever it is that you do throughout the day, sitting in traffic and you need a podcast to listen to, subscribe, and it'll go right into your podcast app right after we go off the air. Otherwise, on YouTube and Twitch, you can go search our archives. YouTube is TagMeADate. Twitch is twitch.tv/War Report. You can go back, watch old episodes. You can subscribe on YouTube, favorite us or like us or whatever it is on Twitch. I don't even know, a little heart thing. And just spread the word. We had a lot of great comments in. We got a lot of new users. We had David coming in. We had Matt coming in. We had Tara coming in as usual. Kevin was back. Oh my God. We had a lot of comments today, guys, which is awesome. And I really appreciate it. So if you are listening to the show and you have friends that are wrestling fans, spread the word, spread the love. If you're on Facebook, it's as easy as clicking the share button. It's the same thing on YouTube. You can just hit that share button. You can share it to whatever social media site you want. It's real easy. We're wrestling fans. We love pro wrestling. We've been doing this for just 7 going on 8 years now, I believe. And we just want more people involved. We want more fans like us who love talking about wrestling and asking those questions. Like I said, Matt had some good stuff. Kevin had some good stuff. Tara had some good stuff. Everybody had some, David chimed in with the women's title situation. So we love getting that feedback so that it can fuel the rest of our conversation, because otherwise it's just us talking about our own opinions. We could be completely off base, and then you guys could feel something else. And sometimes that's the case. And we just appreciate if you put in a comment that helps fuel our conversation, that's so, we're very appreciative of that. So thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be right back next week. Again, whether this is YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, wherever you're tuning in, come right back to that page next Tuesday, 6 p.m. on Eastern time for another edition of the War Report. We appreciate you guys so much. Have a nice weekend.